I run a lab in Oxford in the pharmacology department looking at Niemann-Pick C in particular, trying to understand what goes wrong at the cellular level, and then trying to understand what's turning out to be an incredibly complicated set of changes in the cell to then target certain sort of little key chinks in the armour of the disease, if you like, that we could target with therapies. I think that one of the exciting things that's happened over the last year is that research is now coming from all sorts of different angles, all sorts of people are getting involved in the field, and we're learning more and more about the cellular problems in the disease. And so we're finding out more ways that we could potentially intervene. Now, some of those interventions could be easily targeted by using existing drugs, which might be a very quick way of developing therapies, and others will require much more traditional drug discovery approaches, which will be longer, but may be very effective in the future. So there's a huge amount of activity going on at the moment, which is very, very exciting, because a few years ago we really had very few options about, or few thoughts about how we might be able to manipulate the system for clinical benefit. Funding of research is an extremely expensive process, and you require a lot of grant funding in a lab to keep each person salaried and have research funding for their actual research activities in the lab. And one of the things that small charities like Niemann-Pick UK can do, who don't have huge funding streams for research, is that they can provide small amounts of money at the right time to catalyse a new project, to keep something going, or allow us to take it to a level that we've suddenly discovered a new angle and we want to really just test and see whether or not that's a new angle that's worth exploring or not. And often that can then lead to much, much bigger grants from the government or from larger charities based on the sort of pilot data that we got through Niemann-Pick UK funding. So in my lab it's been absolutely crucial for keeping projects going, starting new projects off, funding a piece of equipment that suddenly needs an upgrade, and these small catalysts have really led to much, much bigger funding for the lab and keep things going and allow us to expand our activities and test more approaches for therapy. One of the really nice things about the Niemann-Pick UK meeting is that we get together with all of our colleagues and both scientists and clinicians and all the families, and this often leads to new collaborations being set up at the meeting, and in particular the work that we're doing on gene therapy with Ahad Rahim came out of these meetings, came out of pilot funding to Ahad, and we're now working together on testing this in a model system in my lab. And so a lot of the sort of creative ideas about new collaborative projects and things often come from when scientists get together and meet in a relaxed setting like the family meeting, and it's led to many, many collaborations over the years. And as new people keep coming to the meeting, it means that there's always new ideas, new approaches, people from new organisations or different universities, and synergistically together we can do a lot more than individually. So it's a very, very productive and cooperative kind of framework.